Okay, so Tory Lanez released a song called Cap, which I think is funny. Like looking at it, you release a song called Cap, and a lot of people think you are capping about situations, but I'm not really here to talk about the legal case that Tory Lanez is going through right now. Um, in the song, he referenced either this case or he's talking about another rapper that he does not like. Um, but overall, Tory Lanez is a Canadian American artist. Um, but yeah, I don't think people listen to a lot of Tory Lanez, so that's gonna be new. Um, sorry if this sounds a little different. It's a kind of a different microphone I'm kind of trying out. Um, but overall, I think this should be fun to talk about because a lot of people don't really talk about Tory Lanez like an artist. You know, they consider him R&B, but in the song he's kind of rapping about a lot of different topics, which we'll get right into. Um, we'll get right into.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Okay, so Jordan Lucas has had a lot of different beefs with a lot of different people over the years. That could be from that consists of people like Drake, Jordan Lucas, Don Q, Dream Doll, JID, Dreamville, Eric, the R&B artist of Eric. His name escapes me right now, but he's had a lot of different beefs with a lot of different people, and I think this goes without saying that Tory Lanez even has a case. But I'm not going to speak on that case because there's still information being found out about that, so there's not necessarily a proof about what's happened, right? So as I said, Tory Lanez isn't known for not having beef. He's had beef with a lot of people. He calls Miami taboo in one of these lyrics, which I think the idea of always going to Miami is taboo because Miami's become like a vacation spot, which I think that's what he was hinting at, but I'm not sure. He says Miami's taboo. He says he doesn't doesn't need handouts, which I don't know if that's a YK Cyrus diss when he's saying that, but I'm not entirely sure. But I think that's what he's aiming at because Cyrus owes a lot of people money. Now I wouldn't necessarily call the money that OK Cyrus is getting a handout because he's made it to. Now some people may believe he's a one-hit wonder, but I don't think he's a one. I think he had 2 or 3 hits before. We call him a one-hit wonder. He also says that the beef was. He also says in the chorus that he says the beef is over, but he's like, they're lying. It's not over. And now this could relate to a lot of people. I think him and Don Q are still beefing. I think him and Jordan Lucas ended their beef. Him and Drake, I'm not entirely sure because that started off with something that was extremely left field, right? So I think I'm not entirely sure. And I'm not sure how that situation is still going. He says, "You keep it 100, I want to keep it 50," which I think is a petty line because he's saying, "I'm gonna keep it." He says, "You can always keep it true. I'm gonna keep it for people that are necessary to me. Like if there's nothing being gained or nothing being helped or helping me become better, I'm not gonna put my all into it." But I also see him saying, "Well, you can keep it 100. I'm gonna be 50, and I'm gonna be 50. He's gonna act in a way of 50, the way 50 Cent is, and 50 Cent is very petty on social media. So I'm not sure what he I think that's what he's trying to. I think that's how he's trying to reference it, but I'm not too sure. He says, "I promise that I buy her a Birkin bag," which I think, and this becomes a conversation of should people be buying people Birkin bags or stuff like that when property stocks. There are a lot of things that recruit value that necessarily don't have to be flashy or shown to the light. Because he also says he's a millionaire and he doesn't and he ain't stopping at no light, which is a bad. I think personally is a bad concept to have. Either no matter you're rich or poor or scratching the surface making it right. Like I think you should always stop at red lights, but I also think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of ways that people have made money off of speeding tickets or cops making quotas. But I think he's saying that he doesn't care because he can pay any amount of money that he has to pay for the ticket. He can pay it or for it to get towed. Like I'm saying, like in those situations, and I think a lot of people are like, well, that sounds tone deaf, but it's just the fact that there are people that don't care. So, but I think that's also my other thing. Either he's saying that as in like you're driving a car and he's not stopping at any lights, which is great, which is terrible because you can cause car accidents and all this other stuff. But also, I think it has a triple meaning where he's saying he will only get higher, like Lil Wayne used to say, "The sky's the limit." He says he's not gonna stop at no lights, meaning he's not gonna stop till he gets extremely high. Like when until he gets to that point where he knows he's done everything and become popular, famous, or been appreciated for his work. And he said that the beef was over, and that's what I'm saying. This beef he refers to, I'm not sure if it's Drake. I know Jordan Lucas one is over with because they did a song together. I'm not sure if it's Don Q. Not sure if it's Megan. Like I'm not sure who this beef he's saying isn't over with, right? And he says and Miami's taboo, and he says he doesn't like some people, which I think, I think there when you get to a certain page, a certain level as an artist or a level, you get to a certain level, there are a lot of people that you will feel that are holding you back. Now that might not necessarily be true, but there are some cases that happens to. And he says he knows a lot of scammers, which I guess that's a good thing, but I wouldn't, put that out there because of that, like the laws that we're dealing with on what you say in your music can be used against you. That's always touchy for me. Which I think that's not the worst thing to do. And this issue of not really an issue, but he says that one of his friends had two girls sleep with him at a party, and then he says, "Plus, the only party we know is next door," which I think, if I'm not correct, at one point in time, I could be wrong, and I could be terribly off base, but I think this is his subtle way of saying we plus the only party we know is next door, right? So the only party that so this is what I'm saying. It has double meanings because either he's talking about he's friends with party next door, which I think might be the case. I think him and party next door are acquaintances. I don't know if they're friends, but I think they've helped each other. I believe they helped each other on songs, right? Or he's saying that the only party he knows is next door, but I think he has. Could be wrong, but I think he has a mansion in Toronto, which would be his next door neighbor. So I'm not sure if he's. I think that's what he's saying, but I also think he's trying to say that the only party he knows is next door. Party next door. I think that's the clever line he tried to give praise and credit to Party Next Door, which I think is great. But I think this also could be a setup for that next lyric where he talks about men making jokes or making jokes but knowing they can't back it up, which I think is weird. But I also think I think this line is overused. If I'm not wrong, the Migos used this line, and then somebody else used this line where they mentioned something and then bring Cardi B behind it, which has happened a few times. I think it happened on the DJ Khaled album. I think it's Wish. The song is called Wish Wish, and he says he would say something back, but he needed Cardi for that, which I think. And I hate beefs, right? But I think Tory Lanez is that exception to where it seems like anything he puts out relates to a beef. So I don't know if I don't know if that's directly at Quavo, but I think he's answering people back that were saying, I believe that were saying he was guilty, or unless him and Quavo are at a disagreement, or one of the Migos that are just like at a disagreement because of something relating to Cardi B. But I don't know, right? So y'all enjoyed me talking about Cat by Tory Lanez, but overall, I'm gonna have to give this a 5 out of 10, and that's me being kind of generous because it is an okay song, but it's not like the best Tory Lanez song I've ever heard. So 5 out of 10.